Hi, Robert here. I'm going to show you how I designed this heart transplant key tag. You can see the final product as it looks when it's finished on screen. So what we'll do firstly is we'll close this document or open up a new document for a new screen. I'll be designing it in a program called Plasticity. Okay, initially you'll get this cube coming up, so we can get rid of that cube. And then we'll zoom into the work area by pressing the scroll wheel, and then going from a top-down view. Firstly, what we need to do is sketch out the design. So we need to create two rectangles, the outer and inner rectangle. So the outer one is going to be 50 millimeters by 30 millimeters. And the inner rectangle is going to be 42 millimeters by 24. Next, we're going to design the little circle where the key tag, or the little ring, goes through the key tag. So we'll go up to the tools here and choose a circle, and we'll make the circle about 8 millimeters in diameter, and then do the center one, which will do 5 millimeters. Next, we import in the picture of the heart. Now you'll notice that the picture is too small, so what we need to do is size up the picture. So up in the top left here, we've got our menu images, and we've got the heart JPEG. So click on that, and then to resize it, press S, and then here you'll get a green line with a green box, a red line with a red box, and a yellow box, and resize it. And then get it to roughly the size that we want, and then select OK. Next, what we need to do is we need to actually reposition this, so pressing G and then press on the green arrow to move up a bit, and then the red to move across a bit, and get it roughly in the center of the rectangle. Alright, the next step is to actually sketch out the outline of the heart. So we go up to this menu here and go up to the spline curve. We've got in the right here in this menu here, we've got the snapping option, object snapping. That's set to on. So what that means is that it will snap to one of these grids when it gets close, when your cursor gets close to the grid. We don't want that on at the moment, so we'll switch that off, and then go to our starting point, and then slowly sketch the outline of the heart, going in small increments at a time. Right click, which will cancel the spline curve option, because we're not going to be able to go around the bottom of the heart here. So what I'm going to do is start off from here and go around this way, and then I can complete the sketch. So we'll go back to our spline curve. Now we need to actually click on object snapping here so that we can actually snap it to this point and then switch it off again. And then we'll zoom in so we can get a clearer view of that. And then we need to switch on the snapping again so that we can snap it to the endpoint, and then right click, and there we go. The heart has been sketched. We can actually get rid of the image of the heart, so we'll click on the heart image and then press on this first icon here, or pressing the H key, and that will hide the image of the heart. So what we'll do next is we'll scroll in further into the image. Next we need to actually have a way of this heart attaching to the rectangle of the keychain. So we need to sketch some lines, so go up to the line tool here or press Shift A, and then it doesn't have to be exactly on the edge of the heart here. You can go inside the heart and then we can trim it away later. So start there, and then we'll go to roughly the center of the rectangle here, click, and then go down. We'll press tab and then we can enter the amount, so we want to go down 2 millimeters. Alright, and then enter. That will stop the sketch, so we need to go back to the line tool again and then across, tab 2, and then to the end point, and right click to finish the sketch. Next, what we need to do is trim off some of the excess here on the heart. So to do that, we'll click on the scissor tool here, or the trim tool, and trim away some of this. And while we're at it, we can actually trim away this edge of the where the circle is for the attachment for the ring. Okay, next we can put in the text, but I might hang on from doing that for now. And what we'll do is actually extrude or create the solid from this sketch. So to do that, just hover over the border here and then dragging this yellow circle upwards. You don't have to be exact on the actual dimension. So if we go up here or down here to the distance and put in the distance as 3 millimeters, because we want the key tag to be 3 millimeters thick, and then OK, so 3 millimeters, OK, and then if we switch on the key tag, so you can see that we've got the two parts, the key tag itself and then the heart. So they're two separate sections. I've done that so when I go and 3D print these this model, it's quicker to print separately and it produces less waste when printing it separately than printing it as one piece. Okay, so we can actually switch off the solids for the time being. And now we want to put the text. So go to the search command here and type in text. And then it's got, as a default, it puts the text as plasticity. We want I had a heart, and then change the font from Inter to the first one, and then we need to change the size from 0.01 to 0.003, which is roughly about the size that we want. Okay, and then press G, and then we can move the text into place. I won't get it exactly level or in place, just a rough positioning for this example, and then go back and do the bottom text. So transplant, change the font and then the size, and then G, and then roughly move it into position. We can now switch on the solids. We'll just do the outer part of the key tag, and then if we reposition the image, you'll notice that the actual text is at the bottom of the key tag. We want to bring it up, so we'll switch off the solids and then go to the face tool and select, the edge tool. Select that and then G, and then move this up, and we want to move it up to 3mm. Okay, and I'm just holding down the shift key and then clicking on the text, because sometimes it's hard to select it. Alright, and then G, up 3mm. Okay, and then we can switch on the solid there. Now we've got the switch on the heart as well. And now what we need to do is switch back on these other three tools at the top here. So press 5 and they'll all go green. So click what we need to do now is click on the letters. Actually, we'll change it to face, sorry. So face, select the letter and holding the shift key, and then up, and we'll do it the distance as 0.5, so half a millimeter, and do the same for the transplant text. Okay. Alright, next what we're going to do is we're going to fill it or create the round edges on the key tag. So to do that, we'll go up here to select the edge tool and then click on the 4 corners, holding down the shift key, and then dragging outwards will give you your bevel tool. We'll change the distance to 2.5 millimeters, and we'll do the same for the inside of the key tag. And then the edge of the ring here. And then we can do the outer, do a bit of a bevel to smooth off the edge so that it's not such a hard edge. And we'll put 0.5 as the distance. Do the same for the inside as well. Oops. And 0.5. And we can do the same for the heart as well. And then we can switch off all the sketches because we're finished with those. So click under the curves, select the first one, and then holding shift go down to the bottom one, and then press H to hide the sketch. Now what I'm going to do next is we're going to need to actually combine the actual main body of the key tag with the text, because as you can see here, the text is actually not part of the main body of the key tag, so we need to join that together. So to do that, press the Q key. It will ask you to select the target body, so we select the key tag itself, and then here where we've got the operation, we want it to be a union, so we want it to join, and then holding shift and then selecting okay, what's happening here? Alright, we'll try that again. Q, select main body, union, and when it's selected it should go this purpley colour. Now we've got this message boolean failed, and I know what the problem is with that, so if we go back to we'll switch off the extruded components, so we'll select them and hide all that, and then we'll bring up all the sketch components, and if we zoom in to the text, and you can see here that where the R and A for the word transplant, you'll notice that the lines of the sketch are overlapping. So some text that you use will have this issue, and when you go to merge components together, you'll get that boolean operation error. So to fix it, what we're going to need to do is go to the trim tool and then cut off some of the lines here, and then we're actually going to redraw some of this. Okay, readjust the view. Oops. Try that again. And then we can trim off the excess. And then bring up the extruded parts again. And what we need to do now is we'll actually get rid of the sketch for the time being, just so that we can see what we're doing more clearly. And we need to actually get rid of the R and the A, and then re-extrude that with the changes that we've made. So go to face, oops, make sure the sketch is switched on. Oops. Okay, and then select the R and the A. Okay, what's happened here? We'll get rid of the solids. Okay, that's what I did wrong. So when doing a sketch, you'll notice that when you've done it correctly, the background area within the sketch will change to this purpley colour. If the sketch isn't completed and all the points aren't joined together, you'll just get the outline of the sketch without the purple sort of filling there, and that just indicates that the sketch has been completed. So we'll put that back, and there we go. So the sketch has been completed. And now we can extrude it out. So 0.5. Okay, we can get rid of all the sketches now. Now we should be able to combine the bodies now. Actually, make sure it's set to union. And if everything goes correctly, we shouldn't get that Boolean error again, which we haven't. So okay, and now you can see that when we click on the key tag, that the key tag and all the text is one piece, and then the heart is a separate piece, which is what we want. Now the last step that we need to do, which I'll switch on the image and to switch off the center solid for the hearts, the last step is to sketch out the heartbeat. So if we were going to do it, I'm not going to do it in this tutorial because it takes quite a while to do, but we need to actually make sure that firstly we've got the solid showing of the heart, and then what we do is we get the image and then pressing G and move up the picture of the heart so that it's at the top of the image, so move it to 3mm. And then we would go ahead and start sketching the heartbeat. What I might do is I'll just do part of the heartbeat. I won't do all of it because it takes quite a bit of time to do that, and we'll get rid of the snapping for the object snapping. And then we want the spline for this section here. Switch on the snapping. Oops, do that again. Get rid of the object snapping. And we'll leave it there for now, and then scroll back out, switch off the image, and there we go, we've started to sketch out the heartbeat. Now, as I said before, I'm not going to do all of the heartbeat because it takes quite a while to sketch out, and this video is already getting a little long. So that's it. So that's pretty much the completed key tag. So I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please like this video, and it would be great if you also subscribed to my channel. Thanks for watching. Bye.